All right, it's 5:33. Let's get this show on the road. Once again, my name is TJ Kidder. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Learn Academy, and welcome to our Tec Info Session. We're really excited to have all of you join us here tonight. And just to look at our packed schedule here tonight, we do have a couple things we want to dive into. We're going to do a little check-in. Check-in is a really fun thing that we do here at Learn Academy. We do it every day inside of our classroom, and it's just a really great way to break the ice and get the day started. So we'll start with that. Then we'll dive into a little bit more about the prep courses we offer here, what those look like, what are some of the upcoming dates for that. We'll dive into a little bit of what the onboarding process looks like. Being a part of the VetTech program, we need a few extra documents. There are a few extra steps just to make sure everything runs smoothly. So we'll dive into that. And then we'll go over our program here at Learn. We're a 4-month full stack bootcamp, VetTech approved, which is fantastic. And we'll dive into what does the curriculum look like? What does the day-to-day look like? And then we'll also dive into what our internship program looks like. That happens during month 4 of the program and is guaranteed to all of our students. So it's a really awesome benefit that we're able to provide to all of our students. And additionally, we also have career services after you graduate. So we'll dive into what that looks like and what are some of the job placement opportunities that we provide to our students once you graduate the program. And then last but not least, we'll open it up to some questions. You might have a few extra questions that you want to dive into. So we'll let you guys open the floor and answer away. But just to dive in, a few housekeeping items real quick. We do have a few things that we ask of you while you're in our presentation. Zoom, we are online. So, this similar to our classroom, this is a safe space, but it still is a public space. And we want to promote a spirit of inclusivity and make sure that we're welcoming, we're friendly, we're patient with everyone. And then we ask that everybody respect each other. So we're going to ask you to participate and engage throughout the program. But like I said, please ask questions. Please have your camera on. We want you to be present. We want you to be here. Another thing, like I mentioned right before, if you're not talking though, please be muted. It'll help keep the presentation going along. Just in case your dog barks or the UPS guy comes home, we've got all those covered. And that kind of covers all the housekeeping items. So let's just go ahead and dive in. Like I said, check-in. This is a fun thing that we do during our daily time here in the classroom. So in the chat, go ahead, introduce yourself. Go ahead and say maybe where you live if you haven't done so already. And then one of the things that fuels developers is caffeine. So coffee, tea, what do you drink to keep yourself going? And then maybe just a quick, what are you watching right now? What are the things that you're checking out, whether it's on Hulu, Disney, all of those things. Looks like Francisco. Got some red items going down. Cool. So for me, to start it off, I'm a coffee guy. I love coffee, especially nitro cold brew, fresh from the tap. That stuff is amazing. And what am I watching right now? There's a really great show that's on HBO right now, and I can't remember the name, but it's a new crime show, and it's on the tip of my head. But The Staircase was on HBO recently, and that's actually a pretty cool crime drama that they had put on there. See some awesome things coming in San Diego. We're seeing a bunch of awesome places here. Maybe Kuba, if you don't mind, I'd like to pass it off to you. Maybe you give a quick introduction about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Kumba. I'm the enrollment manager here at Learn Academy. I live in San Diego, but I grew up in Rhode Island and was born in West Africa, Liberia. So I'm a little bit of everything. I'm the oddball. I don't drink coffee or tea. So I'm more of a Starbucks strawberry acai person, which is probably not good for me. Right now, I'm watching, after work, I'm watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trials. So I'm like officially a lawyer now after watching that stuff. It's so interesting. So yeah, that's what's keeping me busy right now after work. I'm gonna pass it off to Vanessa Nuno.
Hey guys, I'm Vanessa. I'm the operations coordinator for Learn. I live in San Diego. I was not born here, but I was raised here. I've moved around a lot, so I've lived in a few different places, but I always come back to San Diego. It's kind of hard not to. I'm a big coffee person, take my coffee black. Drink it all day, probably shouldn't. Right now, after work, we've been really into Something Bit Me on Disney Plus. It's really good. Just like true stories, like people talk about their like crazy outdoor adventures and how they get attacked, and it makes me never want to go outside again. So good stuff. Sarah.
Hi, everybody. My name's Sarah. I'm the Director of Academic Experience here at Learn. I currently live in San Diego. I like both coffee and tea. I typically drink coffee in the morning and then more like herbal or non-caffeinated tea in the afternoons or evenings. And what I'm watching right now, I'm really in love with The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It's on Amazon, but it is just so funny. I absolutely am binging that at the moment. I'll pass it over to Paul.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Paul. I'm the Career Services Coordinator at Learn Academy. And as you may tell, I'm English, and therefore it has to be tea to prove it, as if to prove it. And yeah, I'll drink tea all day. What am I watching right now? I've just finished watching Slow Horses on Apple TV Plus. That was really good, like a spy drama type situation. And yeah, so The Flight Attendant, that's what I've been watching as well. I'm not quite sure who else I should pass it back to TJ, possibly.
Yeah, no, thank you, Paul. We'd love to give everybody here an opportunity to, maybe a few people to share. I see Kurt, your hand is up. That's the perfect segue. Would you like to share your answers?
First, before I say anything, Paul, did you add some milk to that tea?
Of course, I don't think you needed to ask, to be fair.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Sorry about that. All right. Let me lower my hand here. All right. My name is Kurt German. I'm originally from Wisconsin. I live in Fort Hood, Texas. I drink both coffee and tea, and I usually just watch movies on YouTube or Amazon.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kurt. Pleasure to meet you. Glad to have you here. Does anybody else want to hop in? Please, you're more than welcome to. Just go ahead and mute yourself.
Hi, my name's Heath. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I live in Riverside, California now. I like coffee over tea. I don't watch a lot of television, but I like being outside and watching nature.
I love it. Nature is probably the preferred way we should all get outside and spend some quality time. Anybody else want to hop in real quick? Maybe one more. Cool. Yeah, go ahead, Andre. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Andre Gann. I'm originally from Chicago, but I just moved from Austin, Texas to out here in San Diego, and I like to indulge in some caffeinated products here. Usually espresso, but I kind of made a switch to Simply Greens. It's like a matcha powder proprietary blend that has a little bit of natural caffeine in it. And it's doing its trick. I like it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Andre. And then I know Francisco, maybe one more real quick if you want to hop in and share your answers.
My name's Francisco. I'm currently in Manhattan, Kansas, but I'm originally from Santa Ana, California. And what was the question? Sorry, about?
Yeah, coffee or tea, and then what are you watching right now or listening to?
Well, coffee. I like French roast. TV wise, I watch anime, so I'm a big anime, fan. So
Wonderful. So is my brother, huge anime fan. But we do have a packed agenda. I want to keep the show on the road a little bit. I appreciate all of you sharing your answers. It's really awesome to hear what you have to say, and we really appreciate you being here. So just to get our presentation moving, I'm going to pass this off to Kumba, and she's going to dive into a little bit of the structure of Learn and then the onboarding and what the process looks like.
Thank you, TJ. If you can just go to the next slide for me, that'd be great. All right, so the structure of learn, how our program works. Our program is a 4-month live remote full stack web development program. And what that means is for the first 3 months, you will gather in a virtual classroom just like this with your classmates and instructors and learn how to become full stack web developers, right? And the last month you spend at a guaranteed internship at a tech company or a startup where you get to learn real world skills and working on internal and external client facing projects. That's actually one of the most popular features of our program here at Learn. And lastly, we do have career services for life, and career services helps you with your career search plan while you're in the program and after you graduate too as well. And we just really Learn provides a supportive community for our students, especially obviously everybody in this room today is a veteran. So we really try to make sure we're being supportive of our students in any way possible. That's from the top of the leadership of our school all the way to our instructors. And I have to say personally, we have some of the most amazing instructors that are really dedicated to our students and go out of their way to make sure that y'all understand what the technical skills that's necessary to be successful in this program too as well. Okay. And Sarah and Paul will go over some more details about just the curriculum and the career services here after I'm done. Okay, VetTech and how kind of the structure of and how this works in the process, right? Briefly, I know there may be some folks in here that have already been admitted to our previous cohort or been admitted to our current cohort coming up. Right now, we are enrolling for our ECHO cohort, which starts August 1st. And those decisions will be made on June 15th. The average class size in our program is capped at 20 students. We don't want a huge virtual classroom of 40, 50, 60 students. We want it to feel like a team, like kind of similar to like a developer team, right? Where you can kind of get really healthy, interactive, engaging learning. If you do not have an interview schedule, if you have an interview scheduled after June 14th, you will be considered for our Foxtrot cohort, which starts on September 5th. There are students that go on the wait list, and all the time I tell students, if you don't get in one cohort, don't be discouraged. The most important thing is keep yourself prepared. We have workshops all the time, and I'll talk a little bit about our Jumpstart, our prep program called Jumpstart, which you'll have access to. Being prepared and staying on top of things. So if some students for whatever reason, personal things come up and they can't continue the program and they may rescind their spot. So for students who are prepared and ready to go, we're going to look at those students first that are on the wait list for that cohort that's coming up. So don't be discouraged if you don't immediately get a spot, because the wait list is a real option of getting a spot too as well. And the process that works is you have an interview process, which is very similar. It says interview, but it's a conversation, right? Getting to know you, and we want to know about your collaboration style, how you interact with others. What are your goals and objectives of being part of this program? And then our committee will review all these applications and an enrollment decision will be made. Currently for ECHO, it's going to be made on June 15th. Okay. Next. All right, the requirements of what we need from you. It's really important before anybody gets an admissions decision, we have to have your certificate of eligibility. When you apply for the cohort, you can attach your COE to your application. For whatever reason, maybe there's a technical glitch, you weren't able to do it, you can always forward that to me and I'll make sure that it's attached to your application. Without that COE, we cannot make an admissions decision. Sometimes folks are qualify for what's called the post 9/11 GI Bill. So that also comes in the form of an email. So if you're not too sure, just email me and say, hey, Kumba, is this the right COE? And I'll review it and let you know if you have the right COE or not, okay? It's really important in terms of the process and how this works. When a student is admitted to the program, about 30 days prior to the start of the cohort, we will call you up and get your social security number to begin the process in VA once. That allows them to start making sure that you qualify and send out your acceptance letter. So we do need that. That information, we'll make sure we get rid of it as soon as possible. So we're not going to copy it down on anywhere just for safety reasons too as well. One thing that we do want folks to understand is with the VetTech program, if you get an award letter and the program starts and you decide to withdraw from the program, there is an 18-month waiting period. So part of the interview process, part of the Jumpstart program is to make sure that this is the right fit for you, because we don't want you to start the program for whatever reason, you decide, hey, this is not for you, and then that's going to affect your benefits moving forward. You would have to wait 18 months before you could reapply for vet tech again. The housing stipend, the BAH, is covered under the online rate for this program, and the waiver does not apply to us. There's an online rate and there's an in-person rate. I do not know what the difference is. The VA would have that specific numbers, but we do know our program is covered under the online rate. Next one for me. When you are accepted into the program, there's an onboarding process that will start. Vanessa is our operations coordinator. She will work with you to make sure you have everything you need on this list. So the several things that we're looking for is personal information, require prep work, tutorials. You'll schedule an instructor one-on-one meeting, get you signed up for Slack. We need your high school diploma or the equivalent and other required documents, and then schedule you to pick up your laptop. For any student that lives an hour or more from San Diego, we will ship you that laptop at no cost to you. If you're an hour within San Diego, we'll ask that you come into our office to pick up the equipment. And that typically happens for students who are local about a couple of days before the class starts, but typically the Thursday or Friday prior to the start of the cohort. If you are more than an hour away, we will ship that to you the week before. Okay, onboarding is required for. Sorry, y'all. Background noise. All right. So part of the onboarding process, as you see, it's kind of the checklist, and that's really, really important. If we do not have any of these things, we will rescind your acceptance because it's really essential. So please check your email consistently. We'll even text you. Vanessa does such a great job of communicating with people and letting them know what's going on, what's happening, keeping them updated. If there's any type of blockers, reach out to us and let us know, because we cannot have you in the spot if we don't have these required documents. And there's so many students that are really interested in this program. As you can see tonight, this is only a portion of the students that apply to the program. So we don't want to give a spot to someone that's not meeting these requirements or turning in the necessary documents, okay? Next slide. Part of the requirements is the prep course. It's called Jumpstart. Jumpstart takes place, the next one starts May 20th to May 22nd and then June 24th. Every cohort has a Jumpstart. Jumpstart is our weekend prep course. It's about 20 hours of prep work. It allows you to get your fundamentals under your belt, to make connections, to see, really important to see if this is the right fit for you, because you may apply for the program and decide, maybe this isn't right. So Jumpstart will really give you a window into the makeup of the class, the program, and get you a lot of your fundamental skills under your belt. So it's a great way to really decide if this is right for you for sure. And Jumpstart will happen once a month moving forward. And these are the dates that are currently available for that prep course. Okay. Next slide. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Sarah.
All right. Well, hi everybody, and we really appreciate you joining us this evening. We're really excited to have so many people interested in our program. My name's Sarah, and I'm the Director of Academic Experience at Learn. So basically, I oversee all things classroom related. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about expectations in the classroom at Learn in terms of what you can expect from us and also what we expect from our students. To start with, we're a very collaborative and caring environment. These are top-down core values at Learn. So what you can expect from us is to create and hold a space for everybody, instructors, students, Learn staff, community members, all of us as a group of humans to work together, to support each other, to learn from each other, to challenge each other, and to push everyone forward on their learning journey. So you can expect the instruction staff and the entire Learn staff is here to work really hard to support you. Next slide, please, TJ. But successful learning is not something that happens to you. Creating space in the classroom that fosters personal growth takes commitment from every person in the room. So we expect from you reliability. You got to show up. You got to show up every day. You got to show up on time. You got to do the work. We expect you and your shining face to be in class with your camera on, engaging, being present, and participating with us every day. We are 9 to 5, Monday through Friday in the Pacific time zone for 16 weeks. So our expectation is that you are here the entire time. You have to show up and you have to engage, and you have to be uncomfortable. You have to ask for help when you really don't want to, and you have to take the time to help others, because growth happens during the hard stuff. Joining a boot camp is hard, because if you don't know it yet, learning coding is really freaking hard. And nobody came into this world knowing how to talk to computers. And nobody is ever really good. Sorry. Oh, sorry about that. What was I saying? Nobody's really good at something without being bad at it first. So it's important to us that we create a space where you're allowed to be really bad at the thing that's hard, and that's okay. And so you can expect that we're going to hold the space for you, and we expect for you to commit to the process and to struggle and to work hard and to do the thing that feels uncomfortable. Commit to the process and commit to the work. One of the things that I really love about coding is that coding at its essence is it's all about communication. And so to be a truly effective developer, you have to be a really excellent communicator of ideas. And so to practice this skill, we do a lot of pair programming. Pair programming is two students working together on a single project. And so to collaborate effectively in this way, we need all of the technologies that we work with to match up together as a group. And so during the duration of your time at Learn, we loan you a MacBook. And yes, you have to use it. It's a MacBook Air. I know I've had some people that come in and just feel very uncomfortable with Mac. There is a learning curve, but like anything, it's what you're doing is going to be challenging and you're going to overcome. The technologies that we use at Learn are better suited for the Mac operating system. And since I set up all the computers, it's much easier for me to bug fix if something in this process goes wrong. And I think with that, I'm passing it over to Paul.
Hello, everybody. Just for those I think that may have come in a little bit later than everybody else, my name is Paul. I'm the Career Services Coordinator at Learn Academy. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the internship program and the services beyond the classroom once you graduate. As Kumba said, the internship is the thing that I think really intrigues people and gets people very excited about what we do here at Learn. And what happens at the end of your 12 weeks in the classroom, you spend 4 weeks with a tech company working with real live code, and you'll be working as a junior developer. Lots of hands-on experience, and you may very well be working with new technology. Maybe something that we haven't covered within the classroom, but we will give you some time in week 12 to be able to prep for any kind of curveballs like that. It's also an opportunity to get hired. Around about sort of 30% of the time, either the internship is extended or it leads to like further work with that particular company. And so companies actually use this as like an extended interview process. So it's a really good opportunity. But if it doesn't turn into like work, then it's a great thing to be able to put onto your resume that you've worked within a real life code and you've been part of a development team. Next slide, I think. And then you'll work with me after the 16 weeks within the program, sort of aftercare, as it were. And one of the first things you'll do is you'll arrange a meeting with me to figure out what that job search will look like. What are the kinds of things that really get you fired up? And I take you through some of the things that you might very well just really be interested in, and set you up, get you all organized with those the different aspects of the job search. So networking and keeping your skills sharp, and the actual applications themselves. During the program, we spend 1 week with the professional development side of things. So we look at resumes and cover letters and the LinkedIn profiles, all those sorts of that sort of aspect of the job search will be handled in week 7, and then we will kind of work with you after the actual 16 weeks, looking for that dream job that you've worked so hard to try to get. So I will be helping you with that. Also, because you are involved in the vet tech scheme, we encourage you to access all of their resources as well, all the sort of other bits of training that you can get, all of the events that they organize as well. And so we'll put you in touch with those sorts of things also. Okay, and that's it.
Cool. Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you, the entire Learn team. Really appreciate you guys diving into a little bit more about your program. We've also had quite a few questions coming into the chat, and this is the perfect time to get any more of your questions answered. So I see Sammy has a few questions popping in, and we can go ahead and just start right here.
I can jump in on that if that's,
yeah, please,
if you
go
want
right
to,
ahead, Sarah. Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, particularly with your first question, how we choose the tech stack. We work closely with a couple of web development consultancies, and so we model our day-to-day after we modify it for the classroom, but we model our day-to-day after what it looks like to work in a web development consultancy. And so we have chosen our stack based off of what is going to teach our students the fundamentals. My expectation is not that you are going to learn one set of skills in class and that you're going to take that and get a job in exactly that same set of technology. There's so many tech stacks. There's so many pieces that are added together to create a single application. There's no way that we can teach it all. You're never going to come out of this class knowing exactly the resume experience for a particular job. So our goal is to teach you the fundamentals. What are the things that the programming languages have in common? What are the things that you need in order to understand how data flows through an application? And then also, how can you learn how you can be a really good learner? Because that's what this job is. This job is just continuous learning and continuous problem solving. And so you're never going to know the answer. How do you become okay with that, and how do you respond? So we teach a tech stack that's going to focus on the fundamentals first, with the expectation that you will continue to learn new programming languages in the future. For the internships, we work with different companies and we recruit on a cohort to cohort basis. So every cohort is going to be slightly different. We like to work with partners we've worked with before. We're excited to have build those relationships, but we're also always trying to expand and grow our network. So there's a list of companies we have partnered with in the past that's available on our website, or a partial list, but it will be slightly different per cohort. And then, yes, we have lots of statistics listed on our website.
Yeah, and just to touch into a few of those, so like Sarah said, we've worked with tons of companies. So we've worked with about 80 to 100 companies all over the country now. So our main locale, we're headquartered here down in San Diego, and we started as an in-person program back in 2016. So the benefit of now providing a remote program and a remote internship program is we're now working with companies all across the US. And for stats, just a few numbers, we see roughly about 30% of our students get hired or extended. And so what that means is a lot of companies come into the internship program using the internship as a way to hire and find developers. So we see a lot of companies using that to, about 30% of them, to hire our students through the internship program, and then or extend it, which means the internship is only a month, but they could extend that out to, we've seen 2 months, we've seen 3 months, depending on how long the project is, kind of depends on, what the company is looking for. But the internship is only just 1 month, but there are some other great opportunities there.
And no matter what, we can't get you a job. The only person who can get you a job is you. We just want to help provide you the tools and the support to figure out how you can go about that. The people who get jobs the fastest in our classroom, the people who I see have the most success, are people who have a really good attitude, really good communication skills, and people who work really hard and are committed to the grind. People who are excited about the industry, excited about learning. It's not necessarily the people who come in with the most skills or are, the quote unquote best developer in their cohort that get hired first. It's all of those other pieces that employers are looking for to add to the value of their team. So if you are seeking a job, we are going to support that process, but we cannot get you a job. That's your job to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And just to add that one last piece, Sammy, I see your question. So some internships are paid, some are not paid. So we don't really have a number on how many per cohort are paid. It just depends on the companies that we bring in during that cohort. So we usually send anywhere from 2 to 6 students per company. And if we have around 20 students per cohort, we're usually looking at anywhere from about 4 to 6, sometimes 7 companies per cohort. It just really depends on what they are looking for and what the project scope is at that time. And they all come into the classroom, they do a big pitch and share about themselves, and then we as a staff help facilitate the matching. We kind of help find the best process. Some are medium-sized companies, some are large companies, some are startups, some are in biotech, some are web agencies. We get a real good mix of companies. So there's a lot of really exciting opportunities inside of there. And just one quick thing, I see a lot of questions coming to the chat. So if you have a question, I'd love to let you take the floor. So if you have a question, please don't be afraid to raise your hand. We'll pass it over, but we're just knocking through all these really good questions inside the chat. And just to dive into the internship during the BAH, yes, so you get the BAH for the whole 4 months. And there was a question of, is it online? Is it in person? So it is the online rate. So we are an online program, and since we are an online program, we only qualify for the online rate since we don't have a physical space anymore at all. Cool. Sammy, I see you got a quick question again. Please go ahead.
Sorry about that. I didn't realize you wanted us to get on. So
no, please go ahead. I'd love to hear your question.
The last question that I had was, so this is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. The other schools, I mean, one of them is 9 to 9, 6 days a week, all this stuff. But our students allowed are able to work outside of that, so they can obviously, pay bills. That was it.
It's honestly up to your individual bandwidth. It's an intense program. It is very much a boot camp in every respect of the fact that it is a full-time immersive program. We don't have homework in the sense that at the end of the day, you're not tasked with something to go do and then bring back in the morning. We try and keep our classwork as far as what is expected to be done in class for the most part. There's a couple of small exceptions to that, but day-to-day work is done in class. However, because we move really quickly and these concepts are complicated, most of our students need to study, review concepts from the day before, prep concepts for the next day in order to stay up with what we're covering in class. So I absolutely have students that work, people that work, nights, weekends. But it's honestly, it's something that I just recommend that yourself and know where that line is for you. And I don't want you to burn out or, get sick or anything due to like stressing yourself out too much or committing to more than is reasonable. So just knowing that this is a pretty full-time experience, and that, I know you got to do what you got to do to maintain, life and health and all of that. So just finding that balance for you and just making that decision for yourself is what I recommend.
Yeah, go ahead if you got one more. No worries.
Sorry, I don't know why I can't, oh yeah, there we go. I figured it out.
Oh, I think you hit it one more time. If you're having trouble, no worries. You can throw it in the chat. We'll make sure to get that answered. While you figure that out real quick, is there anybody else who has a quick question that they'd love to get answered? Yeah, please, Andre.
All right, so for Sarah, I have a question for you. Piggybacking off of that last topic there, about when it comes to like grasping some of the different concepts that are going to be thrown at us as students. If there's a student that, or if I'm not getting something right during the class and I do fall behind, I understand that it's up to me that night to kind of review everything, but how much leeway will you guys kind of give us if we're not grabbing a concept? Like, what are the resources that we can go do or go find and do? Is it all just preparatory based, just getting us or do it as much as we can before we actually start the course to get us ready for those concepts that are going to be thrown at us? Or like what kind of things can we work with here?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I feel like a couple things to discuss there. First of all, like, we're not a traditional education environment in that you are not being evaluated based on, okay, well, we're going to give you this test and see if you can regurgitate information the way that we expect. Like, that's not how we work. We are more about a learning process. And so we look at each individual student through more of the lens of skill acquisition, that everybody has to go through the process of being confused by a topic and then getting it just a little bit and then getting a little bit more. And that the grind that you go through is going to move your skill acquisition forward at the individual rate that you learn. And everybody learns differently. So we don't look at, we don't give you grades. There's not a pass fail for this class. For us, success is that you are learning about your individual learning style and that you're committing to the process and that we're seeing growth from your baseline over time.
Breaking it down.
What's that?
I said, breaking it down from the smallest thing.
Right, and that everybody's learning process and growth is going to be really, really unique to you. And so we don't try to measure based on each other, and more about like what is like more giving you the opportunity to say, okay, here's the concepts we covered, where are the gaps for you? And then as far as like what happens if somebody's just really not getting it, I mean, the onus is very much on you to come forward and say, hey, like I don't understand this. But at that point, first of all, the best resource is just your cohort mates. We keep small classes. We're hoping to build community in those classes, and that we see typically cohorts doing like study groups and, reaching out to each other and with questions, because the person who's the best one to explain to you a concept is someone who just learned it. They just went through that grind of understanding, and then they can reach out and say, here's what I had to do to understand it. And so we encourage the cohorts to create that community and create that support of each other. And then from there, we have a really wonderful community that we try and lean on. We've, in the past, we've brought in mentorship from alumni who are looking to give back to learn and paired people up on more individual level. But we try as much as possible to take a humanistic approach to learning and just recognize that everyone's journey is going to be different. And then we look for your input in what you need for your learning experience.
Okay. And then one last thing, for those resources for like outreach or reaching out towards these smaller groups, would Paul be kind of the expert at that as a resource?
I mean, as far as like classroom work, we try and we have a really wonderful Slack channel that has Slack is a communication platform that we use where everyone in our community, all of our alumni are here in the same communication platform, and so we try and use leverage that to help out our students. And Paul's really great at bringing in outside resources and building the community from the outside, while we focus on building the community from the inside.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So, all right, just answering a quick question. So just to build off the question I just answered, we're going to send out some follow-up here. So we are recording this presentation. So we're going to post it to YouTube. We're going to send it to everybody, just so if you want to go back and get a few things refreshed. We're also going to send out some more information on Jumpstart. So we have another Jumpstart happening at the end of June. All students get access to Jumpstart, but Jumpstart is also open to everybody. So if you're new to the Learn community, we really recommend checking out Jumpstart. Kumba mentioned a little bit before, but it's 3 days. So it's going to be the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th of June. And it's going to be 20 hours long. So 4 hours on a Friday, 8 hours on a Saturday, 8 hours on a Sunday, and it's on Pacific time. So I know some of us are a little bit all over the place. So just to keep an idea of what that looks like on your schedule, but we're going to start, from the bottom and work our way up. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript. We're also going to do a little GitHub. And by the end, you're going to deploy a website to the internet live online, which is awesome. But you're also going to know all the skills that you'll need to know to start day one. So Jumpstart is our prep course. So it gets you fully prepared to do day one. So we'll send out all of that follow-up information. And for some of you, if you're in the enrollment process, please continue to be there. I know, it could be, we do have quite a few people here. We have quite a few people in the enrollment process already, but we have quite a few cohorts still left on 2022. We're starting our Echo cohort in June, and then we have our Delta cohort in August, our Foxtrot, our Echo cohort in, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Delta in June, Echo in August, Foxtrot in September, and then we have Golf in October and Hotel in November. So we still have about five cohorts left here to go. So there's still quite a bit of room, quite a bit of opportunities to join an upcoming cohort. So we're really excited to have you all here. We're really excited to see some more of you in the enrollment process and be a part of our awesome community at Learn. So thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. We really do appreciate it. And if you have any follow-up questions, we're all on LinkedIn. We all have our contact information pretty available. We're also our website chat. We're really quick to answer questions. So if you have any questions, please reach out there, drop a question online, whatever it is, please reach out. We'd love to get it answered. And again, thank you all for being here tonight. Hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you for the questions. Those were really fantastic.